then in 1968, the Black Panther Party. My heroes, the Black Panther Party. Our heroes, the Black Panther Party. Our ancestors and elders, because some of them are still here, had a free breakfast and clinic program. Free breakfast and clinic program. Free breakfast and clinic in the elementary schools was started by the Black Panther Party in the community in order to undermine the influence of the Black Panther Party. In order to undermine the influence of the Black Panther Party, the U.S. government started giving free breakfast in the schools. The government was not giving breakfast before the Panthers was giving breakfast. The government was not giving breakfast before the Panthers was giving breakfast. The government was not giving breakfast before the Panthers were giving breakfast. Brothers and sisters. Okay? It was the Black Panthers who started the free lunch. And to undermine the Panthers, the government started giving out free lunch. And the Panthers had clinics in the community, so the government started putting clinics in the high schools because the Panthers were doing it. The government copied the Panthers. Of course, Garvey did it even before them. But in recent times, it was the Panthers who was feeding our babies and giving out health care in the community. And to undermine the love that the Black community was having for the Panthers, the government started putting free breakfast and lunch in the schools with the health care clinics. And then in 1968, to appease Negroes, in 1968, in order to appease Negroes, your president, Lyndon Baines Johnson, a Democrat, signed an executive order requiring affirmative action in hiring and government contracts for women, not for Black people, for women. See, this is the beginning of the feminism, modern feminism, which was invented and financed by the CIA. Modern feminism, which was invented and financed by the CIA. Modern feminism, invented and financed by the CIA. J. Edgar Hoover, Lyndon Baines Johnson in 68 signs the executive order requiring affirmative action in hiring and government contracts for women, not Blacks, for women. You see that? So you already see Dr. King only been in the grave a few months. Dr. King only been in the grave a few months. Dr. King only been in the grave a few months, and they're already promoting the white woman's agenda above the Black community's agenda. They're already promoting. Dr. King only been dead 5 months. They're already promoting the woman's agenda over and above the Black community agenda. And then in 68, Henry Lewis became the first Black conductor of a major American orchestra. One thing you're going to see when we get into the 70s, one thing you're going to see when we get into the 70s, they start giving Black people a lot of tokenism. They started giving Black people a lot of tokenism. Black faces in high places, Black faces in new places. Tokenism. Black faces in high places, Black faces in new places. Tokenism. Black faces in high places, Black faces in new places. They started giving us tokenism as a distraction from tokenism as a distraction from qualitative systemic change. We still fall for that strategy today. We still fall for that strategy today. We still fall for that strategy today. They'll give you a Barack Obama. They'll give you a Colin Powell, rest in peace. They'll give you a Condoleezza Rice. They'll give you a Clarence Thomas. They'll give you a Kamala Harris. And you think that means progress for the group because a few tokens were put in some new places. Stop falling for the okie doke. Stop falling for the okie doke. Stop falling for the okie doke, brothers and sisters. 1968, Fred Hampton. 1968, Fred Hampton. 1968, Fred Hampton. In 1968, Fred Hampton, a youth activist, joins the Black Panther Party. In 1968, the same year that Dr. King and little Bobby Hutton is murdered, Fred Hampton, how old was Fred? 20 years old, joins the Black Panther Party, quickly becoming the Illinois chair of the Black Panther Party. Illinois Black Panther Party chair, Fred Hampton. 1968. January 1st, 69. We get into the 70s. We get into the 70s. We get into the 70s, brothers and sisters. You better strap on your seatbelt. You better strap on your seatbelt. And by the way, I will be the history and political science teacher at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy for your sons. I will be the political science teacher at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy for your sons. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the PayPal, International Africans, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. Hit the PayPal, International Africans, paypal.me/FDMG Academy. On January the 1st of 1969, on January the 1st of 1969, Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 signed to Motown Records and dropped the #1 hit, ABC. It's just easy as 1, 2, 3, do, re, mi, ABC. Baby, you and me, girl. Rest in peace to Michael Jackson, the greatest who ever did it. Rest in peace to Michael Jackson, the greatest who ever did it. But on January 1st, 1969, Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 signed to Motown Records and dropped the hit record, ABC. That means Africans, blacks, and coons. Conscious Africans, conscious blacks, and coons. ABC. It's just easy as 1, 2, 3. I just see a coon next to me. Coons can be, coons know me, coons we see. Let's continue. Let's continue, brothers and sisters. On January 17th, 1969, tragedy would hit the Black Panther Party in California. On January the 17th of 1969, tragedy would hit the Black Panther Party in California when Alprentice Bunchy Carter, rest in peace to our great ancestor, Alprentice Bunchy Carter and John Huggins, leader of the West Coast Black Panther Party, were shot and killed on the UCLA campus, Campbell Hall, by members of Maulana Karenga's United Slave Organization. On January the 17th, 1969, our ancestors, Alprentice Bunchy Carter and John Huggins, were ambushed on the campus of UCLA inside of Campbell Hall, shot dead by members of Maulana Karenga's United Slaves Movement. Maulana Karenga was not present from what I understand. He also denies any participation or culpability. The murder of Alprentice Bunchy Carter and John Huggins remains a mystery in the black community to this very day. But it was discovered that COINTELPRO instigated the rivalry between the Black Panther Party and the United Slaves. And then, on January the 20th, 1969, on January the 20th, 1969, Richard the Renegade Republican Nixon was sworn in as the 37th President of the United States. Richard Nixon's election and inauguration signaled the symbolic end of the Black civil rights struggle. Richard Nixon's inauguration on January the 20th, 1969, signaled the symbolic end to the Black civil rights era, ushering in an age of the criminalization of Black people, police siege of the Black community. Nixon would bring in mandatory minimum sentencing, prison construction, and undercover police officers. Richard Nixon would pioneer mandatory minimum sentencing, undercover police officers, and mass prison construction. And with Medgar dead, with Malcolm dead, with Martin dead, with the Panthers fighting as much as they can to defend us from the police, we had no serious leadership. We had no serious leadership after Malcolm and Martin, with the exception of the Panthers, who could speak up and advocate for black people to push back against Richard Nixon returning black people to Jim Crow. Richard Nixon would return you to Jim Crow by way of mass incarceration. And then on May 9th, 1969, the Bilderbergers would meet in Denmark. The Bilderbergers will meet. When I do the Bilderberg podcast, we're going to get into that. Now, remember I said Lyndon Baines Johnson signed an executive order for white feminists, right? The white woman got her equality on the back of the black civil rights struggle. The white feminists got their equality on the back of the black civil rights struggle. Now here comes the Rainbow Nation. Now here comes the Rainbow Nation. Now here comes the Rainbow Nation. Dr. King murdered April 4th of 1968. On July the 19th of 1969, 1 year and 3 months later, Dr. King's grave was not even cold yet. 1 year and 3 months later, on July 19th, 1969. Hold on. With Stonewall, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. On June 28th, 1969. On June 28th, 1969. 1 year and 2 months after Dr. King was murdered, the Stonewall riots in New York City officially began the gay rights movement. June 28th, 1969, the Stonewall riots in New York City gave birth to the gay rights movement. 1 year after Dr. King's death, Richard Nixon becomes president. He backrolls black folks. And then the Rainbow Nation give birth to their movement, taking over the black civil rights movement. Do y'all see how this works? Do y'all see how this works? They kill King. Richard Nixon becomes president. He rolls back all the civil rights he can, gives birth to the modern criminalization movement of the black community, and then the Rainbow Nation swoops in, takes over the civil rights movement that Richard Nixon just arrested. The Rainbow Nation swoops in and takes over the civil rights movement that Richard Nixon just arrested. The Rainbow Nation swoops in and takes over the black civil rights movement that Richard Nixon just arrested. So Richard Nixon becomes president January 20th of 1969. The Rainbow Riots are June 28th, 1969. New York City Rainbow Riots take over the civil rights movement. Psychologist 𝚂𝚗𝙱𝚁𝙸𝙱𝚴, political scientist 𝚂𝚂𝚗𝙱𝚂𝚗𝙱, author 𝚂𝚂𝚗𝙱𝚂𝚗𝙱, orator 𝚂𝚂𝚗𝙱𝚂𝚗𝙱